Success for me is just a place of happiness. I just want to live in happiness. One of the hardest things that I've learned on this journey is being present. I come from the hood. I come from nothing. I come from an environment where it's eat or be eaten. And people say, oh, money changed you. Yes, it did. It's supposed to. Because I was in poverty. Do you know what I mean? If you're in poverty and you come out of it and you're still acting the same, that's crazy. When I started, it was just me. Now I've got kids, I've got wife, I've got people dependent on me, I've got staff. The reason I'm successful today is because people criticize me, I take it and I move on. I take it and I improve. I want you to criticize me because I want to be a better version of myself.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Need to Succeed podcast. And like I always say, this podcast is really where we get on phenomenal entrepreneurs and just understand like how they think. Because oftentimes what happens is two people can go through the exact same situation. And one person decides because of that situation, they have to go ahead and become wildly successful. And another person decides because of that same situation that they can no longer achieve the things that they want to achieve. Now, what's the difference between these two mindsets? That's exactly what we look to uncover on this podcast. And today, we have got an absolutely incredible guest with us. We have got a TV personality. He is Mr. Financial Expert himself. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Mr. Emmanuel Asuquo.
Yes, my brother.
Hey, man, how you doing, bro?
No, I'm good, bro. I'm good to be here, man. I love what you're doing, and you know what? We meet at events all the time, and it's like we got to do this, and I'm glad that we can find.
We're here.
Sit down
We made it happen. Listen, bro. I know since you've been getting on TV, I know that you're a busy man, innit?
No,
so we're gonna make it happen when we can.
We have to. But it's good. It's good to be here, man. Keep up the great work, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Thank you, bro. Let's get into this. Yeah. So the very first question that we ask on the podcast is, what does success actually mean to you?
Success. I don't know, man. I think for me, it's just a place of happiness. It's just a place of happiness. I just want to live in happiness. And I know you can't be happy all the time, but for me, it's that even when you're not happy, you're still happy. If that makes sense. Like, you might not be happy because maybe a deal didn't go through. You might not be happy because maybe your child is acting up. You might not be happy because you had an argument with your missus. But in general, life is good. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? To me, that's success. Life is good. Like, things are always going to happen. Things are always going to be up and down and whatever. But when you look, especially from where I've come from to where I am now, I can sit back and say life is good. So no matter whatever throws me, I always got a reason to smile. That's success for me.
I love that, man. I love that. That's beautiful. And it's, the truth is, if we could all think so simply, there's a book by a guy called Eckhart Tolle.
Yes.
The Power of Now.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Wonderful book. Wonderful.
Yeah, so it's a great book. So that's pretty much what you're saying. Just try to block everything else off and just realize, actually, once you contextualize everything, life is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And if you're able to get into that mindset, then certainly it can only be a positive for you. But what's your happy place?
Home. My happy place is my house with my wife and my kids. That's my happy place, man. I always tell people, like, every time I step out of my house, it's a war. You're fighting the economy, you're fighting the government, you're fighting you got competition through businesses, through people. It's always a fight. But when I get in my house, that needs to be my place of peace. That needs to be my place of joy. And it is. So for me, that's my happy place, man.
That's amazing. But how do you juxtapose those two things? Because like you said, you walk out those doors and it's battle. Yeah. It's the economy. It's the government. It's this. Someone might even drive and just splash water on you as they drive past in the car. This is just life.
This is life.
How do you walk back through those doors and then just shut all of that off?
You know what it is that I understand. It's like, I always tell people, imagine you get to heaven. Like, when you get to heaven, you're like, listen, you're not going to act how you was acting when you was on the road. You're going to be like, no, I'm in a place of peace. I'm in a place. So I understand when I walk in this door, plus my responsibilities kick in. So when I step out, I'm stepping out for my wife, for my kids. When I step home, I'm stepping in as a husband and a father. So I can't step in my house with the mentality I have that I have to fight outside. Because when I get in my house, I've got 4 kids that are looking to me to say, Daddy, I've done this at school. I need this. I need that. I've got to be there. I've got to be present. One of the hardest things that I've learned on this journey is being present. My brother, do you know how much things are going on in this life? And when you've come from nothing, yeah, it is, I will sit there, my kids will be talking, I'm thinking about the next deal. I'm thinking about, oh, I've got to do this tomorrow. Oh, I've got to do this. Oh, did I reply to this? What are they going to say about this? Will they accept my offer? There's so many things. My kid is here today. And I remember one time, like, I come home and I looked at my daughter. I got 2 daughters, 2 boys, 2 daughters. My eldest daughter, and she was like, I was like, you're big. And I said, wow. I asked my wife, when did she get this big?
Wow.
I said, bruv, you ain't been here. You've been busy. And I said, no. It's got to stop. Because they're only this age for once. You know what I mean? And I've got to put in, I understood that. I've got to put in the value into them now. I can't try to talk to my kids at 15, 16 and try to tell them, oh yeah, can listen to me, or don't do this, don't do that. If I wasn't there when they were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you know what I mean? So I've got to put in the work now and build the relationships now and be the example now, so that when they see stuff outside, they'll be like, oh, no, I get those influence. I need to be their strongest influence. That's and that comes from time and being present and being. So I've got to cut the two. I've got to know that when I'm here, and when I'm not. And so even like phone, I'll try not to, when they're away, I'll put the phone away. So sometimes my comments, people be like, wow, this guy ain't reply. Like, I'm busy. Like, I've got sometimes when I tell people I'm busy, I'm actually just with my kids. But to me, that's work. That's busy.
Work. That's busy.
Work.
Yeah.
That's busy. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you can be busy. Doesn't mean that because I'm busy, I'm in 100 board meetings. Do you know what I mean? I'm busy taking care of business. And that's my wife, that's my family, and that comes first.
That's amazing, bro. That's amazing. And, you know, it's one of those things as well as an entrepreneur. It's weird because, well, when you're starting off and when you're still kind of just self-employed,
of course.
It's like, it's the worst job in the world because you're juggling all of these things, right? But the perception is that you've got more freedom. Oh yeah, he's got more money now, so you know he can have all these choices. But actually, it's like what they say: with great power comes great responsibilities, right? Exactly. You've got all of these different things. As an entrepreneur, you know, you've got a few different businesses, perhaps, right? You've got all of these different things that you have to do, but at the same time, you've still got the responsibilities. So you're probably working harder because sometimes it's like if you got a 9 to 5, at 5 o'clock you're clocking out. You're going home and you're doing your thing. Right, you're not going back like you said, and you're thinking about, oh, what should I do there? That deal, they're going to accept that. You switch off. But when you're an entrepreneur, it's a whole different kettle of fish, right?
Yeah. And it's seasons, isn't it? It's seasons. That's what I always tell people, it's seasons. So I might need to do 12, 18 months, 2 years focusing, and I'm not going to be as present as I want to be. But now I have to know when to stop. And that's why I tell people, as much as I live to abundance, I understand being content. And the two, some people feel like they can't. No, I understand that there's abundance out there, but just because there is abundance doesn't mean I have to be the one to take all of it. I can be content to a standard where I'm happy enough to be able to have enough to look after my family, my wife, and live the life that we want to live without forever, because it's never enough. I see clients just bought a house, 5 bedroom. They go to their friend's house, it's got 7. Now they hate their house. You only bought it 6 months ago. You buy a new car. A new one comes out 12 months later. Now you hate your car. It's never, ever enough. So you have to come to a place of contentment to know, I'm content with what I've got in life, even though I understand that there is abundance of money and abundance of opportunity. That doesn't mean I have to chase all of it.
How do you balance that with ambition?
It's very difficult because I had to go to therapy. I always tell people I had to go to therapy. Therapy saved my life, saved my marriage, saved my relationship with my kids, and actually made me more money. Because guess what? When I started, I come from the hood. I come from nothing. I come from an environment where it's eat or be eaten. Do you see what I'm saying? And so when you come from that environment, you've got a mentality, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to the hood. I've got to get out of the hood. I've got to get my family out of the hood. I've got to get out of this environment. Do you know what I mean? You know, like when I talk about warfare, it started from you would go to school and just by your uniform, if the wrong people got on your bus, it's long. It's long, bro. It's long. And sometimes you got to think about, am I going to fight or am I just going to take the licks? Do you see what I'm saying? Because sometimes you have to look how much,
real
man.
Life decisions.
Real life this is just to get to school. We haven't even started education yet. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Just to get to school, you're now contemplating. Sometimes you see free man, you're like, listen, I'm going to have to swallow this one. Because big man over there, I don't want to piss him off. Do you know what I'm saying? Then other times you're like, nah, I think I could take them, and you're just going to give them 2 bangs and run. Do you know what I mean? This is how you're living. You're getting on, you sit on a certain pace on a bus, and you look and you see who's getting in. This is just to get to school. This is the environments that I'm in. Like, people talk about fun fair. We couldn't go to fun fair. If you go to go fun fair, get stabbed. Do you see what I'm saying? Common things that people do for fun. You have to make life choices. And so you grow up with that mentality. And so now I'm in business. I'm hungry. I don't want to go back. I'm desperate to change my situation. So now you're making money. You find a way to succeed. All you focus on, I'm not going back. Bruv, I'm nowhere near there. I live in Bromley. Bruv, I live in Bromley. I don't know balconies. It's all houses. It's all trees. There's no estates. Like, I'm comfortable, but I'm still got the same mentality. And I had to go to therapy to really understand, like, actually, I've got to change my mentality. I've got to change what's driving me, because the drivers that help me to succeed, now I'm successful. I need new drivers. Do you know what I mean? I need to drive in a different way, because I've also got, when I started, it was just me. Now I've got kids, I've got wife, I've got people dependent on me. I've got staff. Like, you know what it's like to have staff? Oh my goodness. Every month I've got to pay these people first. Somebody's mortgage, somebody's life is dependent on your business being able to pay them. It's not a joke. It's a serious commitment. So you've got to, every day I'm thinking about making sure I've got at least 3 months worth of your pay that I'm not going to touch, just going to sit there to make sure I can pay you. And I need to top that up every month. I can't pay month to month, because if that happens, like 1 month, you know how it is in this thing.
COVID.
You can get a big thing 1 month, boom, nothing. 2-3 months before you're getting paid, you're chasing invoices. So it's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of things you're going through. So it's really important to really understand what's making you tick. And that's where therapy came in, and I understood I have to think things different. I'm not the guy in the hood anymore. So I've got to act different. And people say, oh, money changed you. Yes, it did. It's supposed to, because I was in poverty. Do you know what I mean? If you're in poverty and you come out of it and you're still acting the same, that's crazy. Do you know what I mean? I've changed that. I'm not now. I might have. There are certain hungers and certain things that I do that maybe other people, because they haven't seen what I've seen. They don't know where. Like, my drive might be a bit more because of where I've come from, but I've also got to understand. I've got kids now. They're not going to be. They're not. I need to help them find the hunger, because they live a life of privilege. So if you live a life of privilege, can you not be hungry? Of course you can. You just need to find out what's going to motivate you. So now it's completely different, because I can't put my eyes in the life of my kids. I wasn't a kid at a time where if I wanted something, I could get it. If I needed it, it was there. I go to school trips. I used to miss out. No was the number one word in my yard. No. No. Can we do? No. Are we going? No. Like, it was just no.
Sometimes you just even tell yourself no before you ask.
Before
because you already know what.
You know what time it is. Do you know what I mean? Common little things. Can I have some more? No. Like, even little things like food. Like, we talk about cost of living crisis. Man grew up in a cost of living crisis. I used to bath with bucket. People don't even know what. You have one bucket. Your mum will boil water, put it in there. That's your water. You fill it with cold. If you put too much cold, now you're done. You're done. You're done. You've got to balance it. And then that's it. That's all. Man grew up bucket. Do you understand? No shower. You had a bucket. Like, we can't, like, cost was tight. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? When I look at my kids, they're drinking orange juice. We didn't have no orange juice. We had water. And my mum used to get the water, put it in the kettle, and then put it in bottle. Do you understand? Government juice. That's what you had. Maybe
a little squash sometimes.
Sometimes a little squash. But even then, she's rationing that. That squash lasts months. In my house, it will last weeks. That thing will last months. When you're unscrewing it, it's tight because all the sugar is crisp at the top. You can't even untie it in the bottle. Like, it's a completely different environment. So, like, when I speak to them, and I really try and understand what they're going through, because they're living different to me. But I also have to make sure they're not spoiled. Yeah. So, we'll take them around grandma. Grandma wants to spoil them and all of that. So we have to take them and understand. Like, we have to talk to them. I told my mum, their mum was born in Nigeria. So I'm telling them the stories of what you saw, what you live, so they can understand the privilege that they have and how they need to make sure that they don't waste it. Do you know what I mean?
Is there any things that obviously you've mentioned the family and your responsibilities where, you come in and you understand these are my responsibilities, but in terms of being able to balance that ambition with also contentment, is there any particular, like, skills or tricks or tools that you use to create that balance?
I think the big thing is accountability. You see, I've got accountability partners that are absolutely amazing. Like my cousin grew up in Brixton, so he's in Brixton. I was in East London, so I used to travel all the way to East to be at his house. I grew up in Brixton, so obviously when I was young, I thought I was Jamaican. Do you know what I mean? I was obviously, you know, it wasn't cool to be African when we were young. Now, obviously, everybody's Af. But yeah, I grew up in Brixton and grew up around him, and so we've grown up together, and we hold each other accountable, like very, very seriously. My best friend OJ from school, he's Ethiopian, and you know, different culture, but still blend, still make sure that we hold each other accountable. And now, even now in business, you know, people like Daniel Moses, we hold each other accountable. So I've got people in my life that will see. And also, you know what? One of the things I always tell people is being open to criticism. One of people's biggest flaws is that nobody can criticize you. Listen to me. The reason I'm successful today is because people criticize me, I take it and I move on. I take it and I improve. I want you to criticize me because I want to be a better version of myself. So some people say, oh, you know, if you get a negative message on social media, you want to spoil your day. No. Okay, let me know. Okay, that's how some people think. Maybe, is it me? Then I can go to the people around me and say, look, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Is this person in the wrong? Is there a learning lesson here? Should I avoid saying certain things? It's about growing. Some of us, we're so stuck in our ways, and then we wonder why opportunities pass us by. Because actually you're not ready to take where we are in the world, where we are, how we're evolving and so forth. So the big thing for me is having an accountability partner, but then also is to know the goal. You see, there are so many things when it comes to success that you can have, but know what your goal is. So when you know what your goal is, I don't care. I can go to my friend that's got, like Daniel, got £7 million property portfolio. I can never feel jealous. That's not my goal. That's not the life I want. So why would I? But sometimes if you don't know your goal, you go around successful people and you're jealous because they have something that you don't want, that you don't. But that's not what you want. That's not the life and if you do want, great. Now you're around it, make sure you spend time so you can find out how to get it. But instead your mindset is, oh, they have a new car, I don't have a new car. Now I'm upset. I can't afford to get that car right now. So now you're upset. Actually, no. Like even my car, like I always tell people, like I got my car and it's like, I've been meaning to upgrade it for the last like 2 years. But the more I do online, I just be driving, I can't be bothered. Because what am I doing for who? Even churches online now. So who am I really driving for? Like, I can't be bothered to upgrade it because that money can be used into, like I said, I upgraded my website. Like, so I've just upgraded my website. The money I spent to upgrade my website, I could have used as a deposit for a car. I could have used it for other things. Like, but for me, it's about understanding what's the goal. Once I know the goal, I can never feel envious of anyone else. I can never feel embarrassed. I can never feel ashamed that someone's got something that I haven't got because I know where I'm going and what I'm doing.
100%. It's so true. That's the power of having goals, right? Because there are so many different routes and so many different roads you can take. But if you've got a destination, if you punch that postcode, that location into the sat nav and it's taking you here, like, you're not going to see a road on the left and say, oh, let me go left. You're like, no, because the sat-nav's not telling me to turn left.
Exactly.
This is where it's going. So having that fixed destination makes it a lot easier for you to get there even quicker as well, right?
Exactly. And that's the thing. I love that example that you use with the sat-nav because sometimes, yeah, I'm a man, I like to get places early and so sometimes, obviously, there's preparation, yeah? So, like, I'm coming here for the podcast today. I know that there's traffic and so forth. I'll put in a sat-nav. Okay, it tells me that it's going to take 40 minutes. But I know there might be additional traffic, there might be an accident. So I'm going to leave 20 minutes for that or half an hour for that. If I get here early, it's not a crime. I can sit in my car, I can chill, I can do some emails before we get... People act like if you get somewhere early, it's a problem. No, preparation. You see me, my day doesn't have me. I go into my day because I'm prepared for what I'm going to do. You understand what I'm trying to say? And so when you go in prepared, now your mind is clear. You're not worrying, oh, I'm running late, I need to do this. Before you know you have an accident, you end up not even getting it. So you understand what I'm trying to say? And then one thing about when you put in a sat-nav, it tells you, you know you're going to reach your destination. There may even be a road that you can get quicker, but you know, as long as I stay on this course, I'm going to get to my objective. I'm going to get to where I am going. There may be shortcuts, but I know I'm getting there. Without a goal, without having a goal or plan, a lot of us are just driving. And we know what we're doing? We're going around roundabouts. Just going around roundabout after roundabout. And then we're just saying, oh, I've seen this place before. And we just keep, and this is what we're doing in life.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been here before. Oh, I love that tree. Oh, and just keep going around the same thing, and then wonder why when we then look up to see our friends, they've gone so far ahead, and you're thinking, why have I been left behind? I'm working, I'm going, but you're going in circles.
You're on a roundabout.
You're just going around, looking at the same things, talking to the same people in the same environments. And so for me, the best thing about is having that destination. I know where I'm going. I might not get there as quick as I want to. There may be bumps in the road, but I know as long as I do X, Y, Z, I'm going to get to my destination.
How did you get out of the hood?
Listen, I got out of the hood, number one, through having... One thing I would say is my family. So my mum and dad, they couldn't really give us money, but they gave us love. And you see, one thing I realised with a lot of my friends, especially the ones, unfortunately, a lot of them grew up without a father. And I was lucky enough to have a father in my house. And so because of that, I had an example of what a man should do or what a man should be and how it should be. I had a mum who loved me. And so when I talk about my place of peace, that was my house. My house was my place of peace when I was a child. And that's why I try and create that same environment now for my children. And so they gave me that love. And that love was a springboard for me I didn't have to worry about, am I going to come home, I'm going to get beat for no reason, or am I going to get abused, or am I going to get cut? I was in a place of love. And so because of that, I could focus on getting out. Sometimes you can't even focus on getting out because the environment you're in, you can't concentrate on anything else other than survival. Do you know what I mean? So the place of love, a place of love, peace, security. That's what my parents gave me. Some people complain my parents can't give me money, but what can they give you? My dad, they gave me security, peace, love. That's enough. I'm going to do the rest. Then it was about having a vision. So having a vision for myself. I saw myself in Canary Wharf. I saw myself working for a financial company, and I did it.
Well, how did you, Canary Wharf is a big place, you know.
Place.
All the big boys are there.
Yeah.
So what made you think from the hood that you could get to Canary Wharf? What possessed you to think that was possible?
Vision. I had vision. I think a lot of us have sight, but not many of us have vision.
What do you mean?
I had a vision for myself. So I grew up in Limehouse, right next to Canary Wharf. I could see these buildings, and everybody that grew, even if you grew up in anywhere around East, you could see those buildings. Even in South, if you're in Greenwich, those you can see
those
the
buildings
same
are tall, you know.
Buildings are tall. But I was right there. I'm the same postcode. I'm right there. I can see these buildings, and I was like, I've got to get in those buildings. And so, for me, that became my vision board. Every day I see this, I've got to do it. I'm going to do it. I've got to do it. And then it's just every day I'm working towards it. Every day I'm trying to work out ways. How do I get there? Who do we know? How do we do? Where can we go? What can we do? But by doing that, opportunities came. So I got an opportunity to work for Marks and Spencer's in Canary Wharf. So that's how I got there. Then I was actually in Canary Wharf, seeing these buildings, looking up into the sky like, wow.
When you say it was an opportunity, did you apply for it?
No, I applied for a job. I got the newspaper. Them times, local newspaper come through. I opened a local newspaper. They said, we're opening a new Marks and Spencer's in Canary Wharf. I applied.
Yeah. The reason I asked that is because, once again, going to the vision, you could have applied for Marks and Spencer in Timbuktu.
Yeah, of course.
Right. But the vision took you
Canary
to
Wharf. And that's the thing. Because I had a vision, I saw Marks and Spencer's, I saw Canary Wharf. I said, wow, I want to be in Canary Wharf. This gets me in Canary Wharf. So I get there. Then I wanted to work in a bank. I wanted to work in Barclays or HSBC because those are the two buildings I can mainly see. So then I'm at Marks and Spencer's, open another newspaper. Here's an opportunity to cashier Barclays. So now I'm like, well, that's Barclays. So it's not in Canary Wharf, but it's in Barclays. So I get there and I tell people are like, oh, Eman, I want to work in marketing, but I keep applying for marketing and I can't get. Go work in a marketing company. Do admin. Surround yourself. Don't wait for the perfect job. Get in there. When you're in there, make friends, be personable, work hard, opportunities will come. Sometimes you just got to get in a building. I knew I wanted to work in Barclays. Okay, I'm going to be a cashier. It's the lowest job here. Lowest job in the bank. But I'm going to be there because that gets me in the building. And then from there, I just work my way up.
Wow, that's incredible. So, did you study finance? Did you study economics in school?
Yes, I did accounting and finance degree at Greenwich University.
Okay.
But I wasn't very I hadn't learned my learning style. And that's one thing I tell people. Sometimes you think you're not smart or you're not good at education, but it's not that you're not good at education. You just haven't learned the way. You haven't understood how you learn. You see, school has a way of teaching you, but our brains are all different. And so the way I learned my learning style. And once I learned how I learned, now I was able to get the results needed to qualify and so forth. So I actually got a third class. And I remember this story.
Third, is that even the thing?
Think about that. So we went to go and take a picture. And my dad's Nigerian, obviously. My dad's like, do we take pictures for third class? Like, he was vexed the whole, he's like, they're giving you certificate for third. Is this? And we meant to clap. My dad was vexed. Like, he's like, why am I here? This doesn't exist. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But today, my dad is the one that sends my content out there and is so proud and tells all his friends and calls me, son, I'm so proud of you, this and that. So, and my dad was on the BBC. We did a documentary and they filmed my dad. And I'm like, when we were filming, my dad was like, I never thought when I would come to this country, the BBC I would be in a documentary with the BBC.
Wow.
Only because of the works that you've done has enabled that.
How did that make you feel?
No, bro. I was already emotional. I was so emotional. Like, because you got to understand that a lot of the time, our parents can only teach from what they know. And all my parents knew were education. And so when I failed in education, especially from my dad, my mum was always supporting me, but my dad, he felt like I was a failure. And so sometimes you got to understand that they can only teach you from what they know, but just because that's what they know doesn't make that the only way or the best way. Do you know what I mean? And now, look at where we're at. We're here now. All his friends call him, you've done so well, did it? And you know, once they're getting praise, now they feel like they've made it in life. It's not even a money thing. It's the praise of their friends that is gold to them. Do you know what I mean?
Amazing. That is, so inspirational to hear. And for you to have had that moment with your dad to just be like, I'm so proud of you. This is incredible. I can imagine how he would have felt like, wow, like, look at what my son has achieved. It's crazy. Working at the cashier in Barclays.
Yeah.
So you're in now. You went to Marks and Spencer's. You got to Canary Wharf. Actually, Barclays took you back out of Canary Wharf. Yeah. But now you're in Barclays. You studied accounting and finance. Yeah. Like, are you starting to smell it at this point? Like, what are you thinking?
So I'm doing my degree in accounting and finance. I'm failing. I'm just chasing girl all day long. Like, just girl, basketball. I was captain of the basketball team. So I just played basketball, chase girl, new girl every day. Like, it was just a waste. It was just a waste. I was hardly going to lesson. Like, I was just enjoying life. Do you know what I mean? And so what happens is that when I'm at work, though, I get a mentor. I didn't know he was my mentor, but my branch manager, young Asian guy, branch manager, is massive. He's like 24 and he's the branch manager. Like, he's so young as a branch manager. And so he sees me, he's from similar background, do you know what I mean? So he sees me and he's like, you're wasting your talent. You're wasting it. So go and learn a skill. So he first tells me if I'm on time or I'm late. So I start coming early. He starts mentoring me, giving me session, teaching me, and I take it. And guess what? One thing about people that mentor you, if they give you something and you take it, guess what? They want to give you more because they're like, I can see the difference. I can see. And so I went from being a cashier to being the most important person in this branch. Like, the branch doesn't hit its target if I'm not in. And when I'm in, all the personal bankers used to fight who would get my leads because they know my leads are signing up because I'm so good at what I'm doing. And so basically then I come off the cashier, I'm in the banking hall. So I'm running the show. Remember, there's people coming lunchtime, the queues are crazy, taking checks, making sure I'm coordinating. I'm the bank coordinator. We get mystery shopped. I get 100%, which is unheard of. 100%. 100%. So that means it's perfect. And the bank is full. So it's almost impossible to get 100% because
someone's gonna have something.
You're gonna have they had to wait, still had to queue, had to wait, but you still gave them enough service for them to appreciate what you're doing that they gave you 100%. Then I got another mystery shop, 100% again, and it was like, wow. Then I won an award for like my customer service, and then because of that, when I finished, Barclays are like, what position do you want?
What was the difference between you and the other cashiers?
The difference between me and the other cashiers, and this is why I talk about university being important. The difference between me and the other cashiers is that I knew I was destined for more. For a lot of the people I worked with, they were just happy that they had a job. And they were proud, I'm a cashier or I'm a personal banker. I'm doing better than a lot. And that's fine. But I knew that this was not my final destination. I knew that there was so much more to achieve. So I'm doing my degree knowing that when I finish this, I'm on to the next. And so I'm working, learning, developing, knowing that I want to put the two together and I'm going to go. And so, again, because I got my degree, Barclays are like, what do you want? I said, financial advisor. By 22, I became the youngest financial advisor in Barclays in the whole country.
Wow.
Coming from the hood.
Wow. Incredible. And why did you pick financial advising?
Because my skill set, I love people. Financial advisor is all about helping people. I love to help people. I grew up in church. I love helping. I have that mentality of helping people. So financial advice is helping people, but also it's not stuck in you got multiple branches that you look after. You're dealing with high net worth people. You're adding value to people's lives. So for me, it was a life skill. But then I'm a people person. So that job is just perfect for me because all I do is meet different people every single day. So when I looked at the skills that I had, that was the role that best suited.
That's crazy because I wouldn't naturally connect a financial advisor. I just think numbers in it, like they're just like an accountant. They're just like that. That's what I think. But actually, when you explain it, you are actually dealing with people and you're dealing with a boring part of people's lives. Exactly. So if you're able to inject that level of energy to explain it to them in a way that is congruent, then actually that is a perfect marriage.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I also talk about sometimes then you get the self-doubt. So you get people in your ear telling you, well, you're only 22, how can you give financial advice? Remember, your typical client's going to be, 60, 70, got pensions. Bro, you ain't even started your pension yet. And you're going to give them advice. But guess what? I just went as myself. I just went and I gave them the energy, I gave them the hunger, and they liked it because they would tell me like, you know what, actually, you give me more than someone that's already established. I don't mean anything to them because they've got loads of clients, but you're brand new. You make me feel important, make me feel special. And that's what I always did. I didn't care if the client had 10,000 or 100,000 or 1 million. I would give them the exact same level of service. And because of that, they then refer you and you then grow and build and that's how we all became successful.
I think that's such a powerful point because that's the thing about big businesses and small businesses. Small businesses always feel like they've got this massive disadvantage because they haven't got the resources, the financials that the big companies have. But actually what you have got is the ability to first of all be very flexible. So you're able to actually adapt to the customer in front of you a whole lot quicker and better than the big corporate can because they have to go through all of these different red tapes where you can make that decision right there and then actually I'm going to do what I need to do to actually get this person the result. So it's a huge advantage, isn't it?
No, it's a massive advantage. And also it's being relatable. That's my skill. People like me and they can relate to me. So what happens is even though I'm with an older lady, she's a white lady, most of my clients, all the clients are white, she'll be like, you remind me of my grandson.
Well, you don't do with black people?
I was in the bank. Those are the customers. And that's what made me want to go out and do this because I was like, all my colleagues are white, all my customers are white, but I go home to the hood. Like, I see black people. I go to church on Sunday, there's like 500 of us. Why don't I see none of you during the week? Do you know what I mean? But the point is I can relate to people. So I can relate to an older lady because she'll have a grandchild and she'll say, oh, you remind me of my grandchild. Do you know what I mean? And now because of that, or I can relate to somebody through sport or through golf. And so sometimes you just have to put yourselves in different environments so that, and I used to watch Made in Chelsea. So when I deal with a posh lot, I'll put on a little voice. Do you know what I mean? And talk about certain restaurants that I see in the TV show and tell them, yeah, I've been here, I've been there, and we'll just connect. But then when I started to understand the importance of being my authentic self, I stopped that and I just went as me. And guess what? Even the posh lot, they'll then drop the voice. Man will come out with one Leeds accent, one Liverpool accent. And I'll be like, I can finally be myself. I don't have to put on a voice for you. Wow. And then we realize that, and again, that makes people buy into you more because you put them in an environment where they can feel like, when I tell people I'm giving finance and I talk about, I grew up on the council estate. Do you know how much times my clients be like, yeah, so did I. Just because somebody is wealthy today in front of you, you see the 10 million in their bank account, you don't know where they come from. You don't know what they've been through in life to get there. And so sometimes for me, the biggest thing is just sharing my vulnerability, sharing where I've come from, sharing why I do what I do, because people buy people. And that's why I always used to make sure every single one of my clients buy into me. Because guess what? One day I'm going to leave because I'm in a bank and I'm not going to be here forever. And when I leave, I'm going to want you to come with me.
But why do you say that? Because most people don't think like that. Most people think I'm going to go to school, go to uni, I'm going to come out, I'm going to get a corporate job, I'm going to bang it out for 40 years, and then after that, I'm done. It's pension time.
Yeah. And I respect that. If that's you, I respect that. But for me personally, I need to live life on my own terms. I don't do well in these environments where I can't be me. Where, you know, they want me to eat. I want to bring food from home, but then everybody's sniffing my food, talking, that smells exotic. Like, leave me. Like, when you was eating cheese and pickle, did that disturb you?
I know exactly what you're talking about. When I was, working for different firms, and you bring your egusi
come on,
with rice into it, and you microwave it, it start giving you the one eye, like, this is not really like, it stinks in there.
It stinks,
like, bro, what do you mean?
Like, but these men eat curry all day long, and there's no issue. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like, I just used to feel like, I can't be me. I can't, like, you want me to wear a suit and tie. I want to be free. Like, if I want to wear a tie, that's because I want to wear it, not because I have to wear it. And so I wanted to start to live life on my own terms. So I knew that working here was to learn. It's like a free, I say free, obviously they paid me, but they paid me to do the work. What I then did for free was get the additional knowledge. How much to charge, where to go, contracts. I took all this stuff. I learned that on the job. I got that extra information. I used to go into meetings that had nothing to do with me to say, can I just sit and learn and listen? Because I knew I wanted to run this exact same business for myself. Wow. So I want to take as much information as I can and gather it. Some of us just go to work, do our job and go home, wonder why our life ain't changed. Do you understand that somebody had a dream and now they can afford to pay you? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
So can you just say that again?
Somebody had a dream and now they can afford to pay you.
Wow.
Somebody had a dream and now I can employ you. You can work for me. I can afford you because I had a dream. And you don't want a dream?
Wow.
It's okay. If that's you, that's fine, because not everybody wants to be employed. And in fact, sometimes I need employees. We need employees. People that just want to be employed. Trust me, running a business, one of the things I can appreciate is good employees. You know what I mean? So we need them. But the point being for me is that wasn't for me. I knew that I actually wanted more than that. I wanted to go and have my dream and live life on my terms. And so that's why I was like, let me collect the information here and go and take it somewhere else.
It's such a massive, massive lesson for people, because sometimes when you're working in an environment that you don't really appreciate, we've all been there. I also come from a corporate background as well. Now you can look at that two ways. You can look at that as, I hate being here. I'm going to give it 20% of my effort and I'm just going to have an exit plan, for whenever I start looking for other jobs. Or you can look into it and say, well, actually, you know what? It's a lot of money to be made here. I love this industry and actually I want to do something like this for myself. Exactly. So let me soak up all of the information. Let me give myself 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, whatever it is, and actually start working towards that, because when you've got that mindset, you see things differently. It's actually going to bring a level of enjoyment because you know what you're looking to get out of this, right?
Exactly. And I feel like when I see people talk about silent quitting, like where you basically do the bare minimum at work because you don't want that job anymore. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but what are you doing? Are you going home? Are you applying? Have you updated your CV? Have you doing nothing? You're silently just doing nothing. So at the end of the day, how is that bettering yourself? For me, if I know I want to quit somewhere, I want to know, what job do I want to go and get? How can I use what I have? How can I leverage this place that I'm in best for the place that I want to get to? That's not a mindset people have. I don't care what 99% of people do not think like that. 100%. Do not think like that. They look at their situation, they're unhappy with their situation, and they moan, they complain, and then they just go and get another job doing the exact same thing, and then they moan and complain in another environment. It doesn't make no sense to me. If I know I don't enjoy what I'm doing, my job is to leverage. How do I leverage where I'm at? How do I make the most of where I'm at to help me get to where I want to be?
Amazing. And look, obviously today, you're crushing it, bro. I just want to say, first of all, I'm really proud of you, and the things that you're doing. It's always great when I see you on TV. I'm like, this is amazing. But not just see you on TV. There's black people on TV.
Yeah, of course.
But like, I'm seeing you on TV and say like, just raw. Like, this is just you're representing who you are, and that's beautiful to see. But like, how did you actually get to that position today? Yeah,
I tell people this story all the time. So basically, 2019, I got made redundant. And literally, I had gone off work for 2 weeks. 2 weeks paternity, because my wife had our fourth kid. And took 2 weeks off, came back, and they made me redundant. And I was like, you know what? I am never, ever, ever going to give anybody the power to do this to me again. Because what happens is when you live on one income, they have the power. They make you feel like you're in their company, and you pay me, but you're replaced. If you die, they will send flowers. But at the same time, after they finish ordering the flowers to send to your house, they're putting a new job advert out. Do you understand? It's business. Somebody has to do that job. So they made me redundant. I was like, you know what? I'm not going back. luckily the lady, and this is why I say sometimes you get blessed. There's a lady who worked in the HR. She's a white lady, but her partner's black and her son is obviously mixed race. And so she really liked me. So she got me the most amount of redundancy that was legally possible. When I added that redundancy with the money that we had in savings, and this is why it's good to live below your means. Some of us live to the maximum we earn. When you want to make a change, pivot, you can't, because you have to have this income. So now you have to work. So what happens is my costs were low, got the money. I knew when we added it together, I didn't have to go to work for like 9 to 12 months.
Wow.
I was enough.
Time to get busy.
Time to get busy. I'm on focus. If I can go every day and work for somebody else, now I can do every day and work for myself full time. I had been doing it in the evenings, weekends, putting stuff on social media, but now I took it serious. Post 2 times a day, reply to all the comments, went into the DMs, do lives weekly, went on other people's lives, do talks. I was active. Relevant content. I was making content daily. So fresh, it happens, I'm making it. Something happened, I'm making it. What's going on? I'm here. And I'm making it entertaining. I'm making it funny. I'm making it relatable. I'm making it shareable. What happens? TV sees it. So but because I'm being active, one of my friends, Bola Soul, she does finance. And so we're close. So she goes for an audition. They're like, oh, do you know anyone else that can audition for this show? Like, oh, my friend Eman does this finance thing. If I wasn't active, do you think she would recommend me? If I wasn't doing, do you think she would recommend? She wouldn't want to embarrass us and recommend someone, and then the TV show will be like, oh, well, who's this? She like, no. So they see my stuff. They're like, yeah, we love it. I audition. Thank God I got it. Bola didn't even get the part in the end. Even when I was out there, Bola was still calling when I was filming every day, messaging like, bro, enjoy it. Did it. Got it. When I on there, I met 2 wonderful people. So first there's Bola, who set it up. Then I met Bianca Milako, who came second on The Apprentice. And I met Anna Williamson, who does Celebs Go Dating, the white lady in Celebs Go Dating. They were both on the show that I did. And from networking, connected with them. Because of Bianca, there's the reason I have the book today. Anna gave me her agent, and her agent is the reason I'm on television now. And even my agent, Samantha. So when I think about it, including my wife, 5 women. Sometimes the women in your life will make a difference. What the problem is that all you see women as is a sexual object. You're missing out. You're missing out on all the knowledge, all the support. You see women, that I always tell people, there's nothing I give my wife, she doesn't multiply. There's nothing. Bola, I showed Bola love, we connected. Look at the opportunity she produced for me. On the show, people connect. Women are so amazing, and sometimes I feel like we only look at them a certain way and we're missing out. We can have platonic relationships as men, and this is just at men. Like, we can have platonic relationships with women, and I'll tell you, your life will change. Wow. And so that was the catalyst that got me on. And then because I did the TV show in November. It came out in November, and then we had lockdown in March 2020. So November 2019, the show came out. We had lockdown. Then we had George Floyd. So then they were looking at, we need to talk about finance because we're all in lockdown, and we need someone black. Well, guess what? I'm black and I talk about finance. I'm here. If I had waited to try and get on when they were looking, it's too late. It's too late. I needed to already be active doing it. And this is why I tell people, don't wait for the opportunity. The opportunity will come. You be active doing what you're supposed to be doing every single day. And I promise you, the opportunity will come because you're active. It doesn't work the other way around. The opportunity don't come and then you get active and say, I deserve this opportunity. It doesn't work like that.
Bro, I'm so glad you said that, because it's about taking imperfect action, because sometimes people wait and you just wait until, I just need to get better. I need to get this equipment. I need to get this information. It's like, no, you've just got to start now. Like everything else, you'll actually figure it out as you go along. But you've just got to start now, because the first time you start, it's going to be the worst anyway. Whether you start today or you start next year, when you start, it's going to be the worst you've ever done it. Yeah. So just start now. If you want to start next year, just start now and then become crap until next year. And then by that time, you'll actually be good at it, right? Exactly. But people just tend to wait for perfection, and perfection never happens. And then when those opportunities come, they're not even opportunities that you are aware of, because they're not even looking at you, because you're not in the race.
Exactly. And so for me, that was the the leveler for me. It was like, okay, cool. Now I'm active. And now when the opportunity comes, it's to take it. How do you take opportunity? Practice. We don't practice enough. We get an opportunity, you just feel I could just turn up. Practice. When I used to do my interviews, practice. I used to go on there, I find it will tell you who's interviewing you. I'll go on their LinkedIn, I know their whole history. I know how long they've been at the company. I know all the jobs they've had. I'll memorize that. I'm in there, and I could then throw that in the interview. They know that you're serious. They know that you've taken time to do some research.
We want him back. Bring him back next time.
You're rememberable because you remembered. If you can even go on there and see, oh, I saw your beautiful wife on your profile. How long have you been married? We're in an interview. I'm talking about personal. Now we personally connect. Now because we personally connect, when they go back and think about who do I want to hire? Oh, do you remember that one? I connected him on a person. I really liked him. I really like him. Do you know how much times I've got stuff? I really like you. Do you know how many times people told me, I really like you? So here's this opportunity. Oh, we really like him. Let's have him back. It's not, oh, he was perfect. No, you might not even be that good. When I look at my first TV stuff, I feel, oh Lord, brother, you are stiff. And you are just like, because you're just practicing your lines like that you've rehearsed. Like now they just switch the camera on and I just do it. Do you know what I mean? But when them times it was practice and get the words out, make sure you say it. And so it takes time, but being personable. There are people when I first started who were runners, who are now, on set. They're now directors. They're now heads of production companies years later. Wow. But because we got on then,
they started.
Now they want to give me opportunity. Do you see what I'm saying? And so don't ever look down on nobody. Everybody's a human being. Everybody deserves respect, no matter what their job is. Just be nice. Wow. And trust me, it comes back.
Wow. There's a few things that you've said that just kind of goes back. I talk a lot about the power of networking. And you said, first of all, we met, networking. You also spoke about, how you networked. So your friend Bola opened the doors, but you went to these shows and you networked with these other two people. And then now they've been able to take, and then it's just like this ripple effect. But just being in the right places at the right time can completely change everything for you as long as you're able to have the conversations with people.
Bola, I saw her on social media. I never knew her before. Now, if you ask Bola, E-man, oh, my bro, I say the same thing. Oh, my sis, Bola. Like, we're like family. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? They see each other like family. But literally, I saw somebody doing the same thing that I was doing, and I didn't know anyone else. And she was doing it well. And so she used to comment on her posts. She had merchandise. I bought her merchandise. I even did a video with her merchandise on. Nice. And then she messaged me. She's like, bro, you're showing me too much love. Let's link up. Then we linked up, had a dinner, got on, carried on moving from there, and so forth. Then I did an event. I paid her to come and speak at one of my events. Before you know, you just naturally grow. Do you see what I'm saying? Look at us here now. Do you know how many people tell me they want me to come and do their podcast? But I've never met you in my life. So now you want me to leave my house and come and film. I said, we do it on Zoom. Oh, we like to do it. But I don't know you. I've never met you. What? Do you know the entitlement that people have, that you feel like I've never met you before and you could just call me and I just leave my house, come and sit down. And then if I try and charge you a fee, say, oh, I haven't got no fee, like you're acting bougie, but would you even know who I am if I wasn't successful? But we have met multiple times and that's the power of networking. Like Daniel was saying when we had the live yesterday, he was talking about it, talking about Daniel Moses, and he was saying, look, do you know how much numbers you will get, people's numbers that you will get in the room networking that you can't get on social media? People will even follow you because you met them in real life. Like, do you understand? There's a connection 100%. That you've met people in real life.
It's a different kind of like bond, isn't it?
It's a different bond. When you reach out to me, we're in the same rooms. So guess what? I know you're hustling. I know the rooms. I know it costs to be in these rooms. And we're in the same rooms. So we're like-minded.
Powerful.
Do you understand? We're like-minded because we've both paid to be in a room. So then why shouldn't we work together? It's about people Emmanuel, I want to ask you a question, or I want to talk to you about this, or bruv, but you're doing no effort. You're just DMing me. You're sitting on your couch, doing nothing, messaging me, thinking I'm going to give you all the, like, get up. Come on, I'm here talking. Like I did a clinic for Somerset House, and they work with mainly like creatives. Yeah. So I did it, and I sat there, and people were coming to ask me questions, and I was like, you know what? Any question you want to ask, I'm going to answer it. I'm not going to leave this place because you got up, even though the event was free. You took the time and you got you got public transport, and you got here, and now I'm going to answer your question. People would DM me and feel
That's
like,
powerful.
I want to ask me a question. I might answer the first one. Then they want to answer. No, I'm not going to. What do you mean? I worked to have this
free
knowledge.
service. People pay money for this.
This is 15 years of knowledge that you think you can just get in a DM. Do you understand? Like, what kind of entitlement is that?
100%.
So it's so important that you go out, you network, you meet people in real life, you let them know, and it's about value sharing. I get value. I'm here now. We're on your platform. There's value to that for me, as well as to you. We can share value, and I know that now that we connected, if I need something, my bro Ibrahim's here. Do you see what I'm saying?
100%.
That's how we work. That's how we
100%.
move, because you're in the room.
Amazing. But let me ask you a question then. Like, obviously, we're in difficult, economic times. Well,
Yeah.
it's subjective.
Subjective.
But
Some
it
people are
depends
still winning.
Exactly. But let's use the economic figures and say it's a difficult time. You're a financial advisor.
Yeah.
If you had to give like one piece of advice that will help people kind of go through this period, like what would that advice be?
There are 365 days in a year. Why do you only get paid on 12 of them? Listen, we can listen. Don't get me. Martin Lewis is sick. I love him. He's my hero. Because of him, I exist. Do you know what I mean? He made it cool to be an expert and so forth and so forth. But all this money saving cut. How much cut can we cut? How many times have we cut since pandemic? We've been cutting. There's nothing left to cut. You just want me to be naked. There's no more cutting here. We can't cut anything else. Now we've got to just make more money. Like, do you understand what I'm trying to say? We've got to find ways. And people say, oh, it's hard. I know it's hard. But what is the alternative? You waiting for Richie Sunak's government to save you. They're not saving you. These men are multi-millionaires. They don't understand your struggle. They don't understand your pain. So for me, you've got to save yourself. And so you've got to say to myself, if you've got one stream of income, how do you look at making more? And I know that sounds like, oh, it's so hard. I'm struggling. My mental health, I understand it. But understand this, nobody is going to save you. The reality is, if you don't get up and save yourself, nobody's going to save you. So you have 365 days in a year. If you did a test and scored 12 out of 365, would you clap for yourself? Huh? You wouldn't.
That's a fail.
That's a big fail. But we do this every year. 12 paychecks. It's impossible.
Wow.
It's impossible. Even I got people who earn over 100K struggling. More money, more problems. Because what happens? You make more money. What happens? Now you started in Lidl's. Now you're in Waitrose. From Waitrose, now you're at Holland. Now you're in Holland and Barrett's and all of these places eating organic. Everything is all Whole Foods. Everything is fresh chicken that's run all over the place. And bruv, it's mad. You can always find a new way to spend money. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So the point for me is that we need more income streams. If you know that, okay, your current job pays for all your outgoings, excellent. If you can be in a position where wherever you're working, it can pay for your outgoings, that is great. Now anything you make on the side, you can go towards investing, it can go towards building your lifestyle, can go towards your holiday, you can go whatever you want to use it for. But now don't use one income for your whole to support your whole life. It's like, imagine a house, a foundation. When you do the foundations, you cover each corner. We've got one thing in the middle trying to balance the whole house. If somebody goes too much to what, the house is going to tilt. We need to have firm foundations. So have an income that can cover all your outgoings. In fact, keep your outgoings low so your income can do that. Then create other streams of income that can then allow you to live the lifestyle you want. That's how it works. And so for me, 365, make sure you're making more than 12.
Wow,
more than
that's
12
powerful.
days.
That's powerful. I mean, I wouldn't even talk down on like 18 and 16-year-olds at the moment because actually they're doing a lot.
They're doing a lot.
They're doing a lot of incredible things, even business-wise. But let's just assume, to the ones who maybe are thinking of how to start out at the moment, what kind of financial advice would you give to them?
I always tell young people, there's something that you've got. Number one, especially if you live at home, your costs are low, number one. So money is not the objective. Yeah? The objective is experience. Because experience will pay you the money. Yeah? So what happens is that as young people, we look online and we want money. Yeah? But actually your costs are low. So right now you don't need money. One, you need experience. Two, is you have energy. And 3 is you have time. What do old people not have? They might have money, but a lot of the time they don't have time and they don't have the energy. So, number 1, get yourself experience where you can. Number 2, try and find older people that have the money but are time poor and are energy poor, so that you can be their energy. I have young people who have gone and done like property search, found a property for a client, then they find it, then the client buys it, then they get a commission, get a percentage, then they help them find 3 or 4 or 5, then the client says, well, I've got all these properties now, can you manage them? Then they manage them, then it's going well. Then because of that, they say, oh, some of my friends have properties. And people now are now managing 50 properties that they didn't buy, but they get paid to manage it. They use that money to then invest in properties themselves or in stocks or whatever it is that they want to do. But it all started from going out and getting the experience.
Wow, honestly, bro, that is like I do mentorship, and I've worked with mentors. I don't think I've ever heard anyone explain it that well.
Okay.
That was so simple, so succinct. Even I bloody got it. Yeah. So that was so incredible. It's like you have to get the experience, so you're then able to actually leverage your time, right, and your energy to get over people's money. Yep. Because the money is there, but they haven't got the time or the energy. But they need to know that you've got the experience to actually
to give it
put that to good use.
Come on.
Wow, that was incredible. Very, very powerful. Thank you so much for that. Honestly, there's so many more things that I feel like I want to rack your brain, but perhaps, hopefully, we can get you on another time.
Yeah, definitely.
But the final question is like, bro, honestly, you've done so much now. Yeah. And, just speaking before this, I know you've got so much more that you want to do, so many more things in the pipeline. Yeah. You've got the book coming out. So can we just touch on the book?
Yeah, so I got a book coming out. It's called Get Your Money Right. And I always tell people it means a lot to me. I left school with 4 GCSEs. I went to college. I got a C, D, and an E. I got a 3rd class at university, and it was always a thing of. Well, I told you when I met Bianca, she was they made an 8-figure business off their book. So they basically did their book and then created it into mentoring, and now they're millionaires off the back of their book. So she was like, "Go get a book. Go grab a book." And I was like, "No, I'm all right. I don't really want to." So yeah, but then I did it. And, one thing I always say is, where you are weak, you can hire. So I might not be like you see, look at it. Facebook own WhatsApp. Facebook could have tried to take the time to try and create their own version. No.
Instagram.
We could try. I'll just buy it. So actually, where I'm struggling writing, but I know my stuff. I can pay someone to help me write my words down. I can so I basically voice noted it. They would write it. We come back and so forth and the book is here now. Wow. I got it published. I got paid. Somebody paid me to write a book.
Lord have mercy.
Like, can you imagine? Me, that 4 GCSE, someone's paid me thousands.
3rd grade.
So you understand? 3rd class. So the point being is that you're not defined by your situation. Sometimes you might see yourself and say, wow, I've gone through this. This can never happen. Don't ever think like that. Don't ever think like that. There are professors who have got all the education in the world. They can't get a book deal. Wow. And then there's me. And I'm here getting paid thousands to write a book. So we got a book, Get Your Money Right. It's a guide on money, on finance. I teach you how the banking system started, all the way how millionaires give their money away in philanthropy. It's not only a book, it's a guide. You can read it from cover to cover, but what I also want people to do is when they realize what section they are at on their journey, they can go to that page. If you're struggling in debt, there's a chapter for you. If you want to build your credit, there's a chapter for you. If you want to buy a house, the strategies are there on how you can do that. You want to start investing, strategies on how you can do that. How does it work? And in each chapter, there's an example. So I give you an example, and you know me, it's going to be funny. It's going to be relatable. It's going to be down to earth. That's how I am. This is like how simple we can make it. So it's for anybody that wants to really get their money right, understand their finances in a relatable way.
Wow, I can't. I actually ordered mine last night, so I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait to get that book out and read it. I know it's going to be incredible. And like I said, I've got a daughter as well, so to order these things to be able to pass on to the next generation and say, hey, read that, figure it out. You know what I'm saying, and make it happen. Any questions? Just call your uncle, innit? Call your uncle E-Man.
I'm here.
But honestly, so final question of the podcast.
Yeah,
you've done so many things now. Now you've even got a book coming out. You're on TV all the time. You've got your own businesses. Like, so today now, what is your need to succeed?
Now it's about the Nelson Mandela quote. It always seems impossible till it's done. That's my mission. I had a young person. He watches me. Obviously, remember I'm on TV, but I'm on as an expert. Normally, when we're on television, we're on as entertainers or sports or whatever. But I'm on as an expert. The country are asking me, what should we do with our money? How can we? And they're asking me. And also, I'm coming from a council estate. So a lot of the time when we see black people that are experts, they talk like they're white, yeah? So we see a Kwasi Kwarteng, for example, where black people say he's not one of us. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, so I represent not only as a black expert, but also represent as a black expert from a council estate. And so this young boy was like, he messaged me on LinkedIn. He was like, yeah, I want to be an expert like you in science.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, you can do it. And he's like, yeah, I told my friends. And my friends laughed at me like, oh, you wanna be a scientist, you little geek, whatever. Then he was like, oh, but Eman's an expert. And they're like, oh yeah, Eman's an expert. So no, it's cool because Eman's cool. So yeah, you can be an expert. And it's like, actually, we're breaking down those stereotypes.
Wow. We're
breaking down those barriers. We don't. Yeah, it's great to be a musician, great to artists, and these things are amazing. But we can be in these other spaces and still be ourselves. And so for me, it's about showing people how far you can go. So I'm pushing it all the way, not just for me. And I always tell people, have a goal outside of yourself. Like, this is beyond me now. This is not just about me and my family. This is about representing to show people you can come from absolutely nothing, have nothing, no connections, no nothing, and you can achieve everything and more. And so for me, I'm going to keep pushing, keep going to show people that it may seem impossible until it's done.
Wow. Emmanuel Asuquo, thank you very much.
Thank you.